from Z to A. This is a reading from a book entitled From Z to A, Starting Life Over, or Starting Over on Purpose by Bishop Russell Smyre. And I am actually reading my own manuscript of a book that I want to publish. The foreword. Have you ever been eating something and the taste wasn't exactly to your liking, but you could not tell what was missing, and decided to eat it in spite of the taste? Maybe it wasn't eating, but it was your career path, your relationships, your spiritual growth, your dreams, or your mental stability. At any rate, it was not your best you, and you thought it was over. The odds were not in your favor. Your pinnacle was behind you as you tried to slow the downward spiral. Too much time had passed to reverse the circumstances. It was your plight in life, so you just made the necessary adjustments to accept this subpar situation. But while you were swimming in the pool of regret at your self-orchestrated pity party, along came a lifeguard of reality to pull you to a place of safety, security, and hope. Bishop Russell Smyre, Sr. is the reality lifeguard with his book From Z to A, Starting Over on Purpose. This book has universal appeal. The principles and the pragmatic information can be readily adapted to your specific need and help you understand that you are not at the end of your rope. From the identification of your problem to the confirmation of your solution, he gently nudges you to success. It is the Lord's doing, and it will produce marvelous and magnificent results in your life. Refuse to let your life plateau when there is so much potential available to you. I would encourage anyone that has come to an 8-sided stop sign in your life to read this book. Remove 5 of the sides by God's grace, end up with 3 sides, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Then you can start over with purpose. Bishop George W. Brooks, Elijah Project founder. All 3 scorecards for rounds 9 through 12 show Sugar Ray Leonard losing to Thomas Hearn. Angelo Dundee, the legendary trainer of Leonard, said the now famous words, "You're blowing it now, son. You're blowing it." Leonard, with a wretchedly beaten face, came out for the 13th round. After hurting Hearns with an overhand right, Leonard went on to pin Hearn against the ropes and then to unleash a furious combination that prompted referee David Pearl to stop the contest in the 12th round. Sugar Ray Leonard was awarded the Unified World Welterweight Championship. When the fight was stopped, Hearns had been leading by the scores of 124 to 122, 125 to 122, and 125 to 121. Although he had been behind on the scorecard, Sugar Ray Leonard was victorious in the fight. What does this mean? Living life on purpose is the only way to win when you're behind on the scorecards. My wife, Pat, was pregnant with our 3rd son when I had a revelation about purpose. Up until that point, my life had been driven by the avoidance of pain and the pursuit of pleasure. On the outside, I appeared to be someone who was productive, growing, giving back, winning, and mastering life. But in reality, I was on a counterfeit track of success, destined for destruction because I was living my life from the outside in. Russell, you are blowing it now, son. You are blowing it. Blowing it is understood to mean that one is completely losing or missing an opportunity. Having opportunities is comparable to having all the ingredients to bake a cake. The challenge is that often we do not have the recipe. And even if we did, it would not guarantee that every cake would come out right every time. The recipe simply gives us a better chance. I realize that if you're not living life on purpose, in essence, you're blowing it. It is like attempting to bake the cake without the recipe. If you have been pursuing a life without purpose, plan, and passion, I have some good news. You have an opportunity to start over today. We are designed by God as a tripartite entity consisting of being a spirit, possessing a soul, and living in a body. It is my belief that the designer, God, intended that we live our lives from the inside out. But most of us spend our days on earth living in the wrong direction. The flesh or the physical body is not the driver of life, but rather it is the vehicle for life. Our lives should be driven by purpose and meaning that lives inside. In other words, we should not be driven by what we live in, but rather by what lives in us. When the flesh is left in charge, it will lead with selfishness, fear, insecurity, and manipulation rather than service. To everything, there is a purpose, a season, and a time. You are unique, you're gifted, and assigned to a particular purpose for this season. Discovery of your purpose is not difficult, but it is very easy to avoid making that discovery. It is my intent to inspire you to dig into your real reasons for your existence. Why were you raised in that home by those parents with those brothers and sisters? Why did you grow up in that environment, in that culture during this specific time? Why are you married to that wife or husband, raising these types of kids, working in this particular place? For me, my purpose journey began with my relationship with Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. It continued with my wife, sons, and daughter, and discovery of my purpose gave me the guidance I needed to start over as a servant to my God, my wife, and my children. Today, I can say that I am happier than I've ever been because my happiness comes from my joy. And this joy can never be taken away because it did not come from the outside. It came from within. I was able now to start my life over on purpose and use some basic core principles that are now proven and tested. My wife and I use these principles to build and sustain a healthy marriage of over 35 years and to raise our four children, our three sons, a physician, an engineer, and a neuroscience professor, and a daughter, a culinary hospitality major, busy raising three children. It worked for us, and it will also work for you. Whether you are starting over in your career, working on relationships, or reinventing yourself, this information is designed to help you maximize and to maintain peak performance in your dreams, your visions, and ideas. This is a book about how you can win the game of life when you're behind on the scorecards. With purpose, you are equipped with a guidance system that will turn stress and anxiety into productive emotions. Discovery of purpose will provide you with energy, momentum, and a fulfillment of a calling that solves problems, releases power, and manifests potential. The saddest life in the world is one without a realization of purpose. Every individual on this planet, no matter his or her race, culture, nationality, or socioeconomic status, has a purpose for which he or she was created. And when God discovered their purpose, they discover that God, excuse me, when people discover their purpose, they discover that God has a plan for their lives, complete with solutions to problems they may encounter. We were created to solve problems, not be the problem. We were created to fulfill the purpose that was designed hidden inside of us, hidden inside of you. You were created to be fruitful, to multiply, to subdue, to replenish, and to have dominion over your environment. Let me repeat that this way. You were created to be productive, to grow and increase, to win and to give back and to master your environment. You are a good person created by God, created by a good God, placed in an environment for the purpose of doing good things. Your purpose is the source from which your life should evolve. And the cool thing about it is you cannot exhaust it. Why? God, our creator, is the source of our purpose. And without purpose, life is a counterfeit process that will end without having added any value to the world or to the lives of the people with whom we spend time. Helping people now discover their purpose while adding value to their lives has been and always will be my focus. Whether I'm preaching, teaching, mentoring, or fathering, my goal is to help people improve and sustain healthy behavior change by encouraging, educating, empowering people with right information and right behavior. Truly understanding purpose means living intentionally. You have a purpose and you are valuable, you're significant and important. Your words have meaning, and you are powerful for this season and time in which you exist. You don't have to create your purpose, it has existed since the beginning. As a matter of fact, your purpose was determined before you were created. The scriptures detail that the reason for Jesus' deposit in the earth, his reason for being born, was to destroy the works of the devil. And just like Jesus, the Son of Man, had purpose, so it is with you also. God has a reason for your deposit into this society. Even if you were a surprise to your parents and you were not a surprise to the creator. Therefore, you are not an accident, nor are you a mishap. God was very intentional in deciding your life. You're not here by chance. You are not the result of a careless event. You were in God's mind, and he thought about you before the foundations of the world were even considered. Your life represents opportunity to fulfill his original intent and plan. Everything is designed by God to solve a particular problem. Some people spend most of their lives running from problems, yet when you are aware of who you are and why you exist, you will transform from running away from problems to seeking problems to solve. A problem, in its most basic understanding, is really an opportunity to grow. You were designed to be a solution to a particular problem. There is something inside of you that is identified as a gift. Gifts were meant to be shared. As a matter of fact, the gift cannot fulfill its assignment until it is shared. The calling or assignment for your life is to discover the place where you are valued, and in this place, problems meet solutions. Your purpose is a gift that will solve problems while adding value to your life and the lives of others. Purpose gives you clarity and a sense of direction in which your life is supposed to go. Purpose is not a destiny. It is a path with an intentional aim. Over the years, I have discovered that many people now find themselves on the wrong path simply because they did not know who they were. People make wrong turns in life when they are unsure about their own uniqueness. Yet here's the beauty and grace of God. If you are traveling along the incorrect path, heading in the wrong direction is not the end of the world. You can start your life over and begin making sound decisions. In other words, you don't have to continue going north when you should be going south, or east when you should be going west. No matter how carefully you drive or whether you have GPS on your cell phone, sooner or later, you're going to miss an exit. It's just a fact of life. And once you miss an exit, you're going to be off course The good news is you don't have to remain off course. When you take wrong turns, at some point in time, the key is to get back on the right road and back on track as quickly as you can. So it is with living a life of purpose. If your life lacks purpose, this book will help you reset and start over on purpose so you can live life based on God's original intention for you. The season and time in which you live represent the unique treasure God has created within you, a treasure that can serve to solve problems. People who are unaware of their purpose are seen as problematic. However, now we discover our purpose in transition from being the problem to being the solution. I encourage you to take this responsibility of a lifetime to start over on purpose and begin living a life of significance. People are often trying to move from A to Z, but this book is not about moving from A to Z, but rather it is about starting over, which requires one to move from Z to A. Be significant, be important, be valuable, be powerful, live life on purpose, even if you have to start over. Live on purpose.